Hello everybody, it's Chaz in Omaha, and today I'm going to give you a quick Season 2 Dragonflight Roundup. All the major features with some quick tips about each thing, just so that you're aware of what's going on. Um, so the first thing was that they created a new zone called the Zaralek Caverns. Um, you can see here I'm on top of the auction house in Valdraken, and if you just fly off of this cliff here, you'll get a quest when you first start in that'll obviously direct you to here. But this is just so you realize, later where it is. It'll send you down to this little island right where my mouse is, and you'll talk to some NPCs. And then once you've done that nonsense, they're going to send you into this giant crater here. So, this zone is pretty similar to the Forgotten Reach, and other recent side zones with new quest content. It's got like a rare spawn cycle that you're gonna want to kill maybe a little bit just for like some rare items. You get some flight stones and stuff that we'll explain later what that does. Um, Inside of here, you'll find these funny little mole people, which are pretty great. Honestly, they're probably one of my favorite side races that they've made in this game because they don't take themselves seriously at all, and I think that's fantastic. So here we are in Loamm. The quest chain will take you here, and this is an important city because you can buy things here, some new recipes that are going to be really important, and also you have the gear upgrade vendor in here, right here. So this is important to know. On the map, you'll see things like this. This is like a rare. And there's also these events. There's none up right now, unfortunately, but there's like a little horn shaped symbol on the map sometimes when you get close enough. And they reward you with some coins that are used for faction vendors and stuff to get various things with the Loamm citizens. There's also snail racing down here, which is hilarious. And I think when you get rep with Loamm, which I haven't gotten the rep up high enough. Yeah, you get snail racing at 7, so I'm really looking forward to that, whatever that means. And then there's also some digging scenarios with one of the main NPCs that you encounter down here. Other than that, we've also got a new system for gear upgrades. So Valor is completely gone. And in place of it, they've created this 4-tiered currency thing that you see I have a little bit of right here. And then there's a base currency, also called flight stones, that you can see here. I'm capped on them. So basically what happens is you get gear, like this gear right here. You can see that there's upgrade level explorer 2 out of 8, or something like this, adventure 1 out of 8. And you can upgrade these using these stones. You have a limit of 150 fragments like this. Each fragment creates 1 crest. Each upgrade level within the appropriate tier is 1 crest. And there are 4 tiers of item upgrade tracks, which require different types of crests. And there are also 4 tiers of crests, which are whelpling, drakes, worms, and aspects. You see, I don't have those yet because they don't exist until Tuesday. Along with these crests being used for just normal gear upgrades as opposed to Valor, you also can create enchanted crests, which are used for crafting new crafted items like you did last year. And in place of this Spark of Ingenuity that we used to use, there's a new one just called Spark of Shadow Flame. It serves the exact same purpose, and you will get them 1 every 2 weeks, with the exception of the very first week, which you will have a whole one, like you see I have right here, because of a special quest in the Zaralek Caverns campaign. Crafting this time is quite possibly going to be even bigger than last time. You can craft all the way up to 447, which if we look into the raid loot content, low mythic is 444. And if we go up to like the second to last boss, it's 450. So that means that you can craft almost the highest gear in the game this time around, but you do need to get the aspect crests, which come from either mythic raids or 16 or higher mythic plus. There are also new embellishments Like this one right here, the Shadow Flame Temper armor patch. Apparently this is going to be best for Warlocks, so I'm very aware of this one. And in addition to that, they also nerfed the Lariat, which I'm sure you're probably familiar with. The Lariat will be less than 50% of its strength at first, but as you get sockets on items like your wrists or your belt or your rings, etc., it will gain power up to back to relative what it was when you have full sockets. So keep that in mind if you were using a Lariat before. So next we have Mythic Plus. So in Mythic Plus, we have a new set of dungeons. This is the first time they've ever done this. They're doing a full revamp of all these dungeons. None of these will be present anymore. They're removing the affixes of Quaking and Explosive entirely, which I think most people will be pretty happy with that, especially Explosive. That affix kind of sucks. And they're adding 3 new affixes called Entangling, Incorporeal, and Afflicted. They have, a preview article of all 3 of them. They're less intrusive than most other ones, like compared to Sanguine or Explosive, where you're like constantly in a state of dealing with that one. These are way less intrusive. Entangling, you just have to run out of a circle once every maybe 45 seconds so you don't get stunned or something. Afflicted gives you a reason for everybody to use dispels. Incorporeal is going to give value to a lot of CCs that never really get used, such as Fear, Shackle, Polymorph, Hex, etc. Also, for Season 2, there is no seasonal effects this time. I think they wanted to try one season without using a seasonal one because they really want to get more into us focusing on the dungeons rather than us focusing on the affixes. Alright, and then the last thing we have is the raid. Now, the raid is called Aberrus, the Shadowed Crucible. I'm just going to give you a really, really quick snapshot of all the bosses so that you can be aware of what's going on. So this is the first boss. It's pretty easy. The armor here gets shaken off every once in a while, and she starts doing more damage to the raid. You got to avoid some swirlies, not a big deal. Then she puts these shadow flame puddles on people that they got to drop off on the side of the room, and then you get lasers chasing you that you chase. You lead the lasers into the puddles, and then the puddles explode, and the lasers go away. So this is a really simple first boss. It looks like it's going to be pretty fun. We got the Amalgamation Chamber. This is original. This is 2 enemies at the beginning. These 2 guys. And you pull them to opposite sides of the room, use some split cleave. There's some debuffs that you just got to kind of avoid. And then eventually they merge together when one of them reaches 50%. And then all the mechanics from both sides merge together also. So next we got Forgotten Experiments. This one is a 3-boss single encounter council. On Mythic, you do fight 2 at the same time, rolling. So the first guy basically just does a jump around, spread out, don't stand in the line of his cleave, bleed thing. It's pretty simple. The second person puts some debuffs on people that will never go away, but ramp up, so you got to dispel them. And then they go to another person, but their damage is lessened. And then the last guy does some evoker things like Deep Breath that will probably one-shot you. Next we have Reshok. He's basically like a wing end boss. He slams random people that you gotta target these little circles on the ground with a slam so that you get him to go away. And then every time he does a slam, a million lava bubbles come out and will run you over and kill you, and this fight is another one where it looks spectacular. I'm really excited to try this boss. And then he gets energy and you gotta move him into the center and he starts exploding to deplete his energy. Assault is glorified trash boss, obligatory glorified trash box. You split your raid into 2 sides. You fight a bunch of ads, you drop some rocks off the side of the cliff to knock them off the wall, and then there's some shamans, you gotta break their bubbles so that they don't blow the raid up. We got Ziskarn. He's gonna be kind of Painsmith-ish, not quite that complicated, a little different, with some golem abs that'll try and set off traps. There's other traps that'll just appear in the room, and you'll have lots of area denial in this room. Then we have Magmarax, which is also another area denial thing, with similar mechanics, except you gotta soak these instead of just avoiding them. He does a knockback, and he does a nasty frontal breath with his 3 heads there. Next we have Echo Meltharion. Now this fight has a lot more going on. It has a really cool wall mechanic throughout the fight that you gotta like break the walls down with this other knockback mechanic he does to people. And then you get like pseudo mind controlled, but you're not actually mind controlled to kill the shields on these Voice from Beyonds in Phase 2, and then once you break the shield, everybody can kill them. You got to move around the room, breaking walls and avoiding things that fall from the ceiling. And then at the end, there's like a bazillion blue portals where you have to stand in the blue portals, similar to Raglan in Sepulchre, so you don't get exploded. And then these little ads spawn out, and it's kind of like an AoE fest, lust at the end, kill him before he kills you kind of thing. Scale Commander Sarkareth is the last boss. He was not tested. People have speculated, but I won't really offer any opinions on it because, you know, wait till we see it, I suppose. All right, everybody, that's pretty much it for the Season 2 Roundup. Thanks for watching, and if this was helpful or entertaining, please like, subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Have a good one, everybody.